I need to tell you something I've never said out loud before. At 83 years old, I made a decision that most people in my life thought was a mistake. And honestly, for the first 6 months, I thought they were right. But what happened after those 6 months changed everything I believed about what it means to actually live in old age. Not survive it, but truly live it. I'm not going to tell you that story yet, because before it makes sense, you need to understand the 5 things that took me almost a lifetime to figure out. And one of them, I promise, is the last thing you'd ever expect. Stay with me until the end. The 5th one is the hardest to admit, and the one that will surprise you most. My name is Eugene. I'm 84 years old this coming September. I spent 40 years working as a civil engineer, building bridges, roads, and water systems across 3 states. I was good at building things. What I was terrible at was building a life that could hold itself up without other people doing the holding. I had a wife who loved me far more than I deserved. 3 children who grew up and moved on the way children do. And by the time I retired, I realized I had no idea who I was without a role to play. I'm not telling you this to make you feel sorry for me. I'm telling you this because I suspect you understand it more than you'd like to admit. The first thing, the body is not a machine you can ignore forever. Here is the mistake I made for decades. I treated my body the way I treated old construction equipment. Run it hard, patch it when it breaks, deal with problems as they come. I never exercised consistently. I ate whatever was convenient. I slept badly and called it discipline. And for years the body cooperated. Until one morning, it didn't. I was 71 when my knees started refusing to carry me upstairs without pain. By 74, my hands had tremors that made simple tasks feel like performances. And what shocked me wasn't the physical decline. It was how quickly physical limitation became emotional defeat. When your body stops cooperating, you don't just lose mobility. You lose the quiet confidence of knowing you can handle your own day. And once that confidence is gone, something inside you starts shrinking. Your body is not just a vehicle for your mind. It is the foundation of your dignity in old age. You don't need to be strong or impressive. You just need to be consistent. A daily walk, staying flexible, keeping enough strength to handle your own life. I wish someone had told me that at 40. I'm telling you now. The second thing, money isn't about wealth. It's about silence. I spent most of my career chasing income, bigger projects, better contracts, more saved, more invested. And yet, even in years when I earned well, there was a low, persistent noise in the back of my mind, a financial anxiety that never fully went quiet because I was always chasing more instead of building something stable. The difference between financial stress and financial peace in old age is not the amount. It is the predictability. I've sat with men who had far less than me, but because what they had was reliable, they moved through their days with a calm I genuinely envied. When your basic needs are covered by something you can count on, your mind stops defending itself against imagined future disasters. That mental silence is where real peace lives. Build something reliable, not impressive, reliable. Your future self will thank you with every quiet morning. Stay with me. The next two things are the ones most people completely overlook, and they're the ones that changed my daily life more than anything else. The third thing, structure is not a prison. It's what keeps you sane. When I retired, I celebrated having no schedule. For about 3 months, it felt like freedom. And then quietly, I started feeling something I can only describe as a dissolving, like I was slowly becoming less solid, less real. Days blurred together. I lost track of weeks. I would sit by the window and realize I had no idea how long I'd been there. That shapelessness started pulling at something deeper, my mood, my sense of purpose, my interest in being awake. A simple routine didn't fix everything, but it stopped the dissolving, waking at the same time. A short walk before breakfast, an hour with a book, a small task that needed doing. These aren't grand achievements, they're anchors. And in old age, what anchors you isn't excitement, it's rhythm. But here's what I didn't expect. Routine alone wasn't enough, because you can have a perfectly structured empty day. And an empty day, no matter how well organized, is still an empty day. The fourth thing, the one small reason that changes everything. At 77, I had structure, stability, and my health relatively intact. And I still woke up most mornings feeling like nothing was waiting for me. No pull toward the day, no small thing calling me forward. That absence, that lack of anticipation, was the quietest kind of suffering I've ever felt. It doesn't announce itself like grief does. It just drains you slowly, day by day, until you start sleeping later because there's no real reason to get up, until afternoons stretch into evenings with nothing memorable attached. The shift happened when I started volunteering at a local library, helping kids with reading 2 afternoons a week. It wasn't a grand mission, but it gave me something to look forward to, something that needed me. The lesson isn't that you need to volunteer. The lesson is that you need something, anything, that creates anticipation. A project unfolding slowly, a small responsibility that shows up for you each morning, a skill you're building with no deadline attached. When one small thing calls you into the day, getting up feels less like obligation and more like a quiet agreement with yourself. Before I get to number 5, which of these 4 things do you feel you've been neglecting most? Drop the number in the comments, 1, 2, 3, or 4. I read every single one. Now, about that decision I mentioned at the very beginning, the one everyone thought was a mistake, that was number 5, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done. The 5th thing, learning to be at peace alone. At 83, I sold my house and moved into a small apartment by myself. No roommate, no family nearby, no daily visitors, just me, a modest space, and more silence than I had experienced in my entire adult life. Everyone thought I was running from something, or giving up, or slowly losing hope. They were wrong. What I was doing was finishing something I had started too late, learning finally to be in my own company without it feeling like punishment. The longest relationship you will ever have is with yourself. And if that relationship is restless, critical, or constantly searching for escape, no amount of company will fully compensate. People can distract you from your inner noise, but the noise never stops until you turn toward it. I spent the first 6 months in that apartment genuinely uncomfortable. My mind was loud. It pulled toward regret, toward old arguments, toward things I hadn't finished. And for a while, I thought everyone had been right about me. But I stayed. I didn't fill every silence with television. I didn't call someone every time the room felt too still. I let the discomfort sit there, and slowly it softened. What replaced it was something I don't have a perfect word for, a settledness, a feeling that my own presence was enough, that sitting quietly with my thoughts wasn't something to escape, but something I had finally earned the right to. A body that still carries you through your own day, a stable income that removes constant fear, a simple routine that gives your days shape, one small reason that pulls you into each morning, and a mind that can sit in its own company without turning that silence into suffering. These 5 things won't make old age easy, but they will make it yours. The apartment I moved into at 83 is the most peaceful place I have ever lived, not because of what's in it, because of what I finally stopped running from. If you know someone who is afraid of getting older right now, not someday, right now, send them this video. That might be the most useful thing you do for them today. And if this conversation meant something to you, subscribe. I don't post often, but when I do, I want it to matter. I'll see you in the next one.